It takes two to make this thing go right. And it takes two to make it out of sight.
It takes two to make it out of sight. Ooh.
And it's out of sight because we're blind. We don't know what we're drinking.
What?
Let's get into it and find out whether you should pay attention to what's in this glass or not.
Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. Thanks for joining us. If
Yeah.
you are new here, we are blind. We don't know what we're drinking. And Erin is more of a social sipper. I'm more of a whiskey nerd.
We are sighted people, but we are drinking this whiskey blind.
That's what I said. We're drinking blind. I think I said that.
You said we are blind.
Okay. We're drinking blind. Yes. But we've drawn this at random from our blind sample pool full of a bunch of pours. We do know it is potentially an American or international whiskey due to the color of the sample jar.
Yes.
But other than that, we have no clue what we're walking into here.
No.
But we will taste it blind. We'll smell it, taste it, and give it a rating. And then we'll find out the price and see if that changes how we feel about what we just drank. Before we find out what we're drinking, you get the most honest opinions this way because it removes any kind of bias that we might have due to the label or anything like that.
Yep.
If you like that sort of thing, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel because we do these types of unbiased reviews all the time over here.
Yeah.
They're not even reviews. They're really just reactions.
Reactions.
Yeah.
We're a whiskey reaction channel.
Yeah. So join in if you'd like while we dive into this nose. Cheers. Wow.
Weird.
That is weird and wild, yes.
It smells kind of fruity, but also kind of like vitamin-y.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm getting like a fruity, milky thing going on. Like a fruity, malty, big fruit, big malt.
I'm thinking like a malted milk ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you dissolved a malted milk ball in some alcohol, I feel like that's what I'm smelling.
With a lot of fruit.
With some fruit, yeah.
Like apricots and peaches and
yeah,
anything in that vein.
This is almost borderline sour smelling, but it's not there.
Yeah, like a peach that's turnt.
Not quite, but almost.
It's getting near. Yeah, this is to me very peachy, very malty. Those are the two predominant things I'm getting out of this. Maybe a little bit of black pepper in there to kind of balance out a little bit, but
shall we drink it?
And a little bit of oak too. Cheers.
Okay, this tastes like a Scotch.
She malty. She real malty.
There's nothing, if you are familiar with Scotch, it is nothing outstanding, but it is good and solid.
I don't know if it's striking me very good and solid tonight.
I think it's solid. Like, it's not the best what I've ever had.
Yeah, it feels hollow.
Yeah, I feel like there is something missing there. And I think maybe that's what is translating to like good and solid, because it's fine. There's nothing off-putting, but there's nothing also that makes me want to drink more of it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there.
I feel like if it had that really creamy texture to it that kind of the nose indicates that it should have, but then I drink it and it's just super thin, that doesn't do much for me.
Yeah.
But you can't trust that first sip. Let's get another one.
So after that first sip, I went back to smell the nose, and the nose was giving me, you know how sometimes when we smell bourbon, we can get like a crafty note, which I guess you've told me is meaning like they probably don't use like they use other grains, more like maybe local grains. I'm getting like a crafty note on the nose for as whatever that means for this type of whiskey. This is not an American bourbon. We know that.
Correct. I think it's a single malt of some sort.
Yeah, but there's like a crafty note, if I can equate that to this type of drink.
Yeah,
on the nose.
Honestly, that's a good way to put it. There's something that's just a little funky in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that second sip for me, the body of the whiskey came through a lot more.
Yeah.
Like it seemed far more creamy and robust on the palate than the first sip did. And that maybe just acclimating to the pour. And, you know, we recommend never judging a whiskey on the first sip. Like, you really need...
You need to get acclimated.
Yeah, you need 2 or 3 sips to even figure out what you're working with here. But, yeah, that second sip, I do find myself wishing that I had more of that peach sweetness on the palate because that's there, but it just gets ran over by the barrel spice, the oakiness, and then that malt flavor.
I will say the overall, like, mouthfeel is kind of thin.
Man, the nose is... quite pronounced though. If the palate was as pronounced as the nose is.
Yeah, I'm ready. I've made my decision. Have you? I'm gonna go just okay. We've had over the course of this channel, we've had several international whiskeys, and this is not the best one I've had. This is probably on the lower rung of the middle of the pack. So I'm going just okay. I don't particularly have to have it. I don't really need us to buy a bottle of it. Yeah. It's not bad, so I'm not going thumbs down, but it's not for me, is what I will say.
Yeah, I'm going to go just okay as well. That means we could take it or leave it. And I think there are days where I would take this because I would be in the mood for it if I had a bottle of it. And then there's days where I would leave this. This is kind of that type of pour for me. It's a little bit more of a mood pour. I think of subsequent sips here, what I'm getting is that peach note, kind of like a creamy peach, malty whiskey flavor. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a lot of that malt grain in this, which I think that's kind of what's making it a little bit more take it or leave it for me. Of subsequent sips, like I'm getting a good viscosity to it, and I'm getting a really good finish.
The finish is nice, I will say that. I agree.
That's what's putting me into just okay land. But if this were as thin as my first sip, I probably would just go thumbs down. I wouldn't waste my money on it. But as I have drank more and more of it, I'm getting acclimated, and I am enjoying what's here. I'm not in the mood for it tonight, but I do know there are nights where I would enjoy this. Okay. So let's find out the price. Number 43 in our pool. So
this pour is $70.
I'm not mad at that. I'm going to stay just okay. It's, again, kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah. I'm going to stay just okay as well. I don't think I would want to pay that for it, but it's not unfairly...
It's not bad value.
It's not bad value. It's not an unfair price, I think, for what's in the glass.
Yeah.
So I am going to stay just okay as well.
And if you do like malt, if you like a real malt forward whiskey, I think you might really like this.
I do like a very malt forward whiskey.
No, you like malty whiskey that has very fruit forwardness to it. This is very malted barley forward.
Okay.
A lot of the whiskeys that you like
that's fair.
Are, to me, a little bit higher caliber than this.
Well, they have a more complexity of flavors, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
That was my point.
Cool.
All right, let's find out what we're drinking. We're both staying just okay. You tell me.
We were drinking. I had to look at the number again. I already forgot. Oh my gosh, work. Whoa, I've never heard of this before. Deanston 12-year.
Oh, okay.
This is a Highland single malt Scotch.
That makes sense.
Ex-bourbon barrels. So that means it's finished in ex-bourbon barrels? Yes. And this is thanks to Peter Faciano at Whiskey is a Journey.
Peter, thank you.
So yeah, thank you for sending this to us.
Yeah, I'll have to look back. By the way, if you're not following Peter's channel, you should. Whiskey is a Journey. Awesome production. I need to look back and see what he thought about Deanston 12 and some of his past videos.
Okay.
I know a lot of people talk about this as like a good beginner Highland Scotch.
I can see that. Although I feel like it's not really giving the world of Scotches a fair shake, because I have found a lot of Scotches to be very fruit forward, and this is not that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it highlights the malt more.
Yeah.
You get the 12 years of age. That comes through. But the nose is tremendous to me. The nose has a very big presence to it.
Yeah.
I would say this nose is not too dissimilar to my nose. It has a big presence.
This nose, in the world of Scotch, I equate this to what Still Austin is in the world of American bourbon. Kind of wild and wacky. Mm-hmm. Not bad, but kind of like wacky, you know?
Yeah. I mean, now knowing what it is, I think everything holds true. I mean, you get that pepperiness along with the malt and the peachiness. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Like, it's good. It's not a bottle I would avoid by any means if you're interested in those, like, peachy, malty, peppery flavors.
Yeah.
But also, it's not one I don't think you have to have this on your shelf necessarily.
I agree.
Like, to be fair, it is kind of unique, but it's not.
So I guess it depends on what you want on your shelf. If you're going for uniqueness, this might be one you want to pick up.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would lean towards, like, I would lean more into Speyside, or I would just go like to something all the way like Isla.
Yeah,
like,
you're saying words and I don't know what they mean.
I want the peatiness, or I want the fruitiness, and I don't need the in between with the maltiness.
Drank the drinks. I don't know what Isla or peated. I know what peated means, but whatever. It's fine.
Okay.
This is what we do.
If you thought this video was fine, or
maybe better than
or
fine,
less than, then maybe think about not subscribing. But
you should subscribe.
If you thought it was fine or a little bit better than fine, because we're blind and you get honest opinions that way, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell if you'd like to join us for a live stream. We do those once a month, and they float around. It'll help you. Also, if you want help finding good people who like good whiskey, then look no further than our Patreon community. They are down there in the video description below. Well, the link to them is down there in the video description below.
They're all hanging out down there.
But check that link. That's where we release our barrel picks, and it is also where you get access to our Discord, and people are sharing samples. We got a Malt Madness section where people are just talking malt whiskey all day long, and it's just all kinds of stuff is going on over there.
It's madness.
All the time. It is madness. And what else? Oh, you can get shirts like this Drink Whiskey shirt, and this is the American Irish with the E. We don't have one without the E, but
because we are primarily a bourbon and rye drinking channel.
You can get this shirt and other shirts over at stuffandwhiskey.com, as well as glassware. Some of Erin's Cozy Corner good gifts with the holidays approaching soon enough.
I need to update that little Cozy Corner. There's only a few things in there.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it for today.
We're done?
Yeah. Thanks for watching, y'all. Be good to each other, and until next time, cheers.
Cheers.